For nearly 2 entire decades, the tennis world was dominated by three unforgettable players. There was the Swiss maestro, Roger Federer, dazzling fans with incredible skill and finesse, while delivering countless moments of tennis magic. The king of clay, Rafael Nadal, capturing fans' hearts with his relentless work ethic and tenacity on the court. And the Serbian tactician, Novak Djokovic, whose athleticism, versatility, and mental toughness made him virtually unbeatable. These three players combined for nearly 300 tournament wins and 66 Grand Slams, reaching unparalleled levels of dominance never seen before in tennis's history. But amidst their unstoppable reign of terror stood one man who not only contested for a dozen Grand Slam titles, but even managed to ascend to the world #1 ranking at the peak of each player's career. Today, we dive into the story of the forgotten member of the Big Four, Andy Murray.
Magic from Murray. Phenomenal stuff from Murray.
Unbelievable. That is quite brilliant from Andy Murray.
Andy Murray was born in Glasgow in 1987. Despite his thin and wiry frame, Murray was a natural-born athlete, picking up tennis and soccer from a very young age. His mother Judy was his mentor growing up, training Andy in both sports and entering him into various junior tournaments. By 15 years old, Murray was one of the UK's top talents, even getting invited to train with the Rangers Football Club, but declined to focus on his tennis career. Unfortunately, a genetic disorder that went unnoticed nearly derailed Murray's entire career before it even began. At 16, Andy Murray was diagnosed with bipartite patella, a condition where the kneecap is made up of two different bones instead of one. This causes severe knee pain and instability, and is especially bad for athletes in high-impact sports. But Murray refused to quit, as his fierce competitive nature motivated him to keep pursuing his dream. His junior career was incredibly successful, reaching as high as number 6 on the singles ladder, while winning various futures tournaments in both Glasgow and Edinburgh. He'd cap off his 2004 season with a junior US Open title, before turning pro in 2005. Murray's professional career got off to an amazing start. The 18-year-old won 4 ATP Challenger tournaments and became the youngest Scotsman to reach the third round at Wimbledon, defeating 14th seed Radek Stepanek in straight sets as a wildcard. And 2006 was even better. Murray won his first ATP title in San Jose, reached the 4th round at Wimbledon after defeating 3rd seed Andy Roddick, and even broke Roger Federer's 55-match win streak on hardcourt, outclassing the Swiss maestro in Cincinnati. He finished the year as the highest-ranked British player in the world, and the first to reach the top 20 in over a decade. By 2008, Murray had firmly established himself as one of the best players in the world. He captured his first Masters 1000 victory in Cincinnati, defeating Novak Djokovic in straight sets. He reached his first major finals only a month later at the US Open, but was bested by Federer in 3 quick sets. By the end of the year, Murray moved up to 4th in the world, joining Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal at the top of the rankings, and forming the now infamous Big Four. For the next 10 years, these 4 players would dominate the entire ATP Tour, winning 90% of all major tournaments, and maintain the world #1 ranking in some capacity for over 2 decades. And despite being the least successful member of this prolific roster, Andy Murray still managed to achieve some incredible feats that not even the GOATs of the sport could match. Andy Murray had a very unique skill set when compared to the rest of the Big Four. He was a very smart and defensive-minded player, able to track down any ball on the court and counterattack with precision. While he lacked the diverse tools and skill set of the top players, he made up for it with elite movement, strategy, and anticipation skills. Murray was great at changing the pace of a rally, mixing in slices and drop shots with powerful ground strokes to outwork his opponents. His backhand and return game rivaled Djokovic as the best on tour, consistently getting balls back in play and stealing points he had no business winning. However, his biggest strength also turned out to be his biggest weakness. Murray had a tendency to play too passively, relying on his defensive skill to carry him through matches. While this worked against most of the tour, Murray struggled against the big three, as his lack of aggression and weaker serve cost him a lot of key victories. Over the next 3 years, Murray reached 3 more Grand Slam finals, but fell in straight sets each time to either Federer or Djokovic. But a key coaching change to legend Ivan Lendl was the turning point in Murray's career. Lendl forced Murray to play more aggressively, while maintaining the consistency and resiliency he was known for. And the change worked. Murray's first real taste of success came at the 2012 Olympics in London, where he got his revenge against Federer in front of a home crowd to capture his first tennis gold medal. Murray carried this success into the US Open a month later, battling his way through tough competition to reach his 5th Grand Slam final. But this time, he conquered his demons, defeating Djokovic in 5 sets to win his first major trophy. And in 2013, Andy Murray cemented his name in tennis history, becoming the first British player since Fred Perry to capture a Wimbledon title, outgunning Djokovic in a convincing straight sets victory. After his major victory, Murray decided to undergo surgery on his back. The Brit had struggled with persistent back issues throughout the early parts of his career and wanted to relieve some of the pain. Because of this, his form dipped drastically in 2014, failing to make a run at any important tournament, and briefly dropped out of the top 10 for the first time since 2008. But he rallied off 2 ATP titles by the end of the year, and bounced back at the Australian Open, reaching his 8th Grand Slam final. At the Davis Cup in 2015, Andy Murray single-handedly carried the UK to their first team victory in 80 years, winning 11 of his team's 12 points throughout the tournament. Despite not winning any majors, Murray's strong play helped him reach a career best 2nd in the world, and his form would only get better the next year. Andy Murray's 2016 campaign was undeniably one of the best individual seasons in tennis history. He won 84 of his 93 matches, reached the finals at the Australian Open, Roland Garros, and Wimbledon, winning the latter in dominating fashion for his 3rd Grand Slam. He tallied 9 total titles throughout the season, including 3 Masters 1000, and ended the year on a 26-match win streak, defeating Djokovic in the ATP Tour Finals to secure himself the year-end world #1 ranking. And to top it off, Murray defended his Olympic gold medal in Rio, defeating Juan Martín del Potro in the finals to become the only player in tennis history to win consecutive singles gold medals. His 2016 campaign was so dominant that he was actually knighted by the royal family for his services in both tennis and his charity foundation. But sadly, after reaching the pinnacle of the sport, it seems like the wear on his body finally started to catch up with him. Murray struggled with various injuries throughout the 2017 season. Murray was unable to defend his Wimbledon crown, losing in the quarterfinals to Sam Querrey, and was noticeably limping during the match. And just a month later, Murray pulled out of the US Open just days before the tournament began, citing a nagging hip injury that made it difficult to play. This injury continued to get worse, forcing him to undergo hip surgery at the start of 2018. But despite promises of a return that same season, Murray's hip continued to bother him, forcing him out of numerous tournaments. He only played 12 matches in 2018, and just 19 the following year. This trend continued for the next few years. Whether it was his hip, a groin injury, nagging back pains that tortured him throughout his career, or a torn ligament in his ankle, Murray's body just couldn't keep up with the demands of being a pro tennis player. Murray missed 15 Grand Slams from 2018 to 2024 and failed to make it past the third round in any of the ones he did attend. After winning 10 tournaments alone in his 2016 campaign, Murray could only muster 2 more titles over the next 8 seasons. The prime years of his career destroyed by injury, and to top it all off, his farewell tour at Wimbledon this year was unceremoniously ruined by another injury. The British legend, in an era defined by the 3 greatest tennis players of all time, Andy Murray stood as the only man capable of challenging these titans at their peak and emerging victorious. He won 46 total titles, 3 Grand Slams, and remains the only player in history to earn 2 gold medals in men's singles. And despite injuries ruining the back half of his career, he can rest easy, knowing his legacy will forever be cemented on the court